Hey guys, what's going on? It's Meerkat here. I'm going to be showcasing a deck today called the Beef Stew deck. It is a fantastic deck. I really enjoy playing. Very aggressive early game Warlock deck. It includes a lot of low cost minions and some Murlocs that kind of synergize very well. And yeah, overall it's just a very fun deck. And I found the deck on a YouTube channel that Force 2 Strategy has. He does these Hearthstone videos. He has a whole series of them where he showcases the top decks, and this is one of them. I think it's the most recent one. I think a North American player on the North American ladder, one of the top ranking guys, this was his deck. Became quite popular about a week ago, or maybe like 4 or 5 days ago. And then, as with anything in Hearthstone, you have this great deck, and everybody's playing it, and they say it's the best deck, and then the next day, someone builds a counter deck that just completely smashes it. And then the day after that, someone builds a counter for the counter of the best deck. And then, 3, 4, 5 days later, someone builds a counter of the counter of the counter, and then by the time you hit 1 week, you're back to the original deck. It's one of the things I love about Hearthstone is it's always changing, it's very fluid, very dynamic, and the great thing about people like me who are horrible at this game is that it's a very easy game to play, and it can be difficult to master. So really all you need to do is just go online, look at the best decks that are out there at the time, give it a try yourself, and kind of feel like you're somewhat of a semi decent player. You'll notice I'm rank 13, not the greatest rank. I think the rank system that we have now starts at like rank 25. I was rank 15, and I went all the way down to rank 11, or up, however you want to say it. Up is down, down is left, and east is right. Anyways, I went to rank 11 and was doing quite well just on playing this one beef stew deck, and and then I finished the night with a win, went to bed, woke up the next day, felt really confident in myself, created a stupid deck that I happened to name Bursted, which is a really dumb name. It fits well because the deck is stupid, and just was doing terrible with it. And then I thought, oh, I'll build another deck, and I didn't even bother to name the second deck that I made because it was just equally even more terrible. So I have a very hard time crafting my own decks and actually winning anything. So I went back down to rank 13 when I started playing those. Went back into my beef stew deck, started playing it back at rank 13 again, kind of going up and down. I'm not the greatest player, but hopefully you can take a look at the game that I'll be playing and see how the deck kind of works and probably decide, some of the decisions that I make in the game are not the best decisions, but whatever. This is a game and it's meant to be played and have fun. So, this deck, the most important thing that I find in this deck is really getting control at the beginning. You want to get your minions out there and you want to really dominate the board, get rid of his minions as he throws them out there. I mean, it's like any Hearthstone game. You really just want to control the board and just smash them in the face. For the starting lineup, just like every other match, you want to base your starting lineup based off of who you're playing. There's 9 different characters and a million different type of decks that they all could play. So I know with the rogue, they could very well go into turn 2, 1 damage removal. He's also got I think he's got a backstab that doesn't cost anything, does 2 damage. So probably my first turn is going to be a Murloc Tidehunter. Young Priestess, very useful card. I want to keep that. Murloc War Leader, probably the best card in the whole entire deck. And Murloc Raider is just kind of a pawn. I'll keep him though. He synergizes well with other Murlocs. So this isn't a complete Murloc deck because there are other cards that are not Murlocs that will do very well on their own. You've got the Voidwalker, which is a 1/3 for 1 taunt card. You got the Knife Juggler, which I just got right now. You know what? I'm probably going to hold off. I think I'm just going to. Well, I would really like to be able to use this after I use that. So you know what? Let's take a gamble. I'm going to hope that he doesn't have removal. No backstab one time. No backstab one time. Um. Oh, perfect. Okay. All right, RNG gods. May the odds be forever in your favor. All right, cool. Hey, catch! You're gonna have to excuse me. I've been sneezing like crazy lately. Alright, there's his Eviscerate. And then he might have a... what's it called? Shadow Step? No, a Backstab. Has he got a Backstab? Nope. No Backstab. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna drop down Murloc War Leader and smash him in the face. Next turn, I'm probably going to drop down my Murloc Tidecaller and a Young Priestess. You know, I'll probably just play all 4 of these cards. You know what? Why not? Just dump it all down. He's in trouble. Alright, yeah. See, this is exactly why this game is awesome. If you can get an early dominating position, you'll just completely smash your opponent. Alright, so I think... oh, and there he goes! He gave up. Alright, well, it just kind of goes to show how successful this deck can be. Alright, I think I'll hop into one more game, see if I can have another opportunity to show you guys how successful the deck can be when you actually play the entire game and your opponent doesn't just say, ah, the hell with it, screw it. Very fun deck. Like I said, you got a lot of early cards. I find the most fun decks are probably the most aggressive decks, like this one, just because your opponent probably is expecting you to kind of do the more average standard deck where you throw out, you know, your Defender of Argus, you've got your, you know, your Chillwind Yeti, things that cost like 4 mana crystal or 5 mana crystal. This one just says, you knock down the front door and you just say, hello, I'm bringing all 50 of my Murloc friends, let me in. Okay, so I'm playing against the Paladin. I'm not going to have to worry about any sort of spells that can do some removal in the first 3 turns. So, and I'm going to have the coin too. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the Blood Imp first, turn 2, drop the Knife Juggler, and coin into a Murloc Raider, or if we happen to get another... you know, let's trade him out. Oh, okay, perfect. That's even better. I find with this deck, it's best to get all of your health bonus cards or health improving buffs at the beginning, unless you are in a position where you can just smash them like I did in the last game. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to play the Blood Imp first. You know what though? He's going to play his power. I didn't even think about that. Yep, there he goes. I should have played a, that's alright. Well, hopefully, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll drop him, we'll coin, and we'll pray to the RNG gods once again that he is able to throw that knife at the minion. Oh well. Now, I could have very well just attacked with my Blood Imp, which is probably what I should have done. But, alas, that's right. Okay, so what do we do? Alright, here's what we're going to do. We're going to drop the Murloc Tidehunter, and that'll give us 2 opportunities to break a shield and kill him. Alright, 1. Alright! This is why this deck can be very annoying. Thank you. Whoops. And next I say we just play the Leper Gnome. So next turn he very well could drop a Consecration, so I'm gonna go ahead and just attack with my 2 imps right now, just in case he does that. And there you go. When you play Hearthstone enough times and you've played multiple matches, you'll start to get the feel of how your opponent's going to play. The best thing to do is, if you know what the other kind of cards that your opponents can have, well, you know, if you know what those cards are, you know, you play a Paladin enough times, you play a Mage enough time, you play a Shaman enough time, and those are your opponents, you'll remember the cards that they have, and you'll start thinking, okay, if I was him, I would probably throw down a Consecration, because then at least that gets rid of his 2 Blood Imps, and, you know, and I have 4 manas this turn. So really start to think about how your opponent is going to be reacting. Don't just think about what you're going to do next and then wait for him to do something. You really want to plan ahead. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and Coin. Nope. Alright, well, I'm going to hold on to all these cards just because I'm worried that he might throw another Consecration down next turn. So because of that, I'll just attack with these minions on the board. And then I'll end the turn. Leper Gnome is a card that I really, really enjoy. I think a lot of people undervalue this card. The thing is, you can most likely do 4 points of damage and it only costs 1 mana crystal. And you can throw it out on the first turn. I mean, there's not a lot of cards that you're going to get that much value from that early on. Okay, so I could throw the Young Priestess down and get 1 extra hit point. But again, I don't think that he could just consecrate it, and that will be kind of a waste. So I'm just going to coin, or I mean, I'm going to do my draw on a card. I'm going to attack. He's probably got, nope, no Noble Sacrifice. So I'm just going to keep smashing him in the face. And you know what? I'm going to drop down another Leper Gnome. In case he does consecrate, then that means that'll be 4 damage to him. Alright, there's Avenging Wrath. Alright. So it brings him down to 2 hit points. So if I draw any charge card, he's in a lot of trouble. Nope. But I did draw a taunt, so I'll drop that down. I'll drop my Young Priestess, and I'll drop my Murloc Tidecaller. Okay. Let's see what happens. He could Consecrate right now, he could do another Avenging Wrath, he could do a Guardian. That'll bring his health back up to, what, 8 points? Let's see what he does. So, I'm reaching around turn 7. Next turn is turn 7. This is really the make or break stage. If you haven't killed your opponent by turn 7, maybe turn 8, chances are he'll be able to get ahead. He'll be able to swing back ahead, and the pendulum will shift the other side, and you'll start losing the game. Oh, nuts. Oh, lucky for us, he doesn't know we have a trick up our sleeve. Alright. And that's the game. Well played. Well, okay, cool. So the second game was a little bit more drawn out. You got a chance to see me actually have to play through the motions. But, yeah, that's the whole deck. Let me back out of here and show you what all the cards consist of. Open up the deck here. Beef stew. You know, I don't know why it's called beef stew. Maybe because it's got a random assortment of cards. Like in your beef stew, you have different vegetables, and you know, maybe I'm just overthinking it. Maybe there is no rationale to why he called it beef stew. Anyways, so there's a Soulfire card in this deck. I'm tempted to take it out and replace it with something else. I've probably only played this card twice out of maybe 25, 30 games I've played this deck with. One of those times I did win the game with the Soulfire, so I don't know. I'm still kind of undecided. You have 2 Abusive Sergeants for certain situations, like in which you just saw the last game. I was able to kind of finally push him off the edge of the cliff with that extra 2 points of damage. You got 2 Blood Imps. For giving your low-costing minions extra health. You got 2 Flame Imps, very aggressive card in the beginning. You got 2 Grimscale Oracle Murlocs, good for synergizing. 2 Leper Gnomes, again, like I said in the last game, I think a lot of people undervalue this card. You most likely will be able to get 4 points of damage if you can hit him in the face and then he kills you. You'll at least get 4 points of damage, if not 2. I mean, guaranteed 2 points of damage, most likely 4 for 1 mana crystal. Not a bad deal, in my opinion. Murloc Raider, this is kind of more of just a pawn used for helping synergize your other Murloc cards. I don't recommend playing him in the first turn because he's most likely going to just get murdered by turn 2. Murloc Tidecaller, awesome card. It's a great card to play if you save all your Murlocs. You throw him down first, and then you throw out like, you know, 4 other Murlocs after him, and his attack just goes up to 5 points of damage. A very fun card. Voidwalker, just for some early defense in case you have a very fragile card that you don't want to get completely smashed right away. Young Priestess, probably one of the better cards in this deck if you get it within the first 3 turns. If you can get both Young Priestess within the first 3 turns, you are going to be sitting really pretty. You're going to be able to keep your minions alive and be able to just dominate the board. Bluegill Warrior, I primarily use for removal, unless again, like I did with the Abusive Sergeant in the last game, I kind of want to have that extra oomph at the end of the game and kind of just go a little bit over the edge. I need that little pick-me-up to finish the game out. I usually will either use it for removal or for end of the game. Knife Juggler, these are 2 very valuable cards. They're good value cards. A lot of people use them in a lot of decks. Because of that reason, a lot of people will try to get rid of your Knife Juggler before they worry about anything else. It's like you throw down a Knife Juggler and it's got this giant target on it, and they go, holy crap, I gotta get rid of this card right away. So just be mindful of that. I don't recommend that you throw them on turn 1. I recommend that if you have the coin, wait till turn 2, drop him down, use the coin, and then drop a 1-cost minion, and you'll get a lot more value out of that. Oh, and by the way, if you get 2 of these guys out, say you wait till turn 3 with the coin, you use the coin, you drop both of them on turn 3, and then you use something like a Murloc Tidehunter the turn after that, that's 4 points of damage, which is really, really valuable. So just like anything in Hearthstone, just know when to use your cards in the proper situations. Murloc Tidehunter is a good value card again. You get 2 minions for the price of 1. Although it's a weak Murloc for its cost, even still you get an extra minion out of it. It'll synergize well with the Knife Juggler. It'll synergize well with your other Murlocs, and just a very good aggressive card. Cold Light Seer, you're going to want to use this obviously after you've dropped down a couple of Murlocs first. Sometimes I'll use it after I've dropped 1 Murloc in certain situations where I want to keep that 1 Murloc alive. Murloc Warleader, probably the best Murloc card in the whole entire game. In my opinion, it's better than Old Murkai. The reason for that is because of the buff. It's such a strong buff, and I hope that Blizzard doesn't nerf it because of that it really synergizes well with your other Murloc decks, or your other Murloc cards in the deck, and it keeps them alive longer, and it can just really smash your opponent by turn 5, 6, or 7. Old Murkai, good card. I use him, every time he comes out in a game where I'm winning, but I'm not as impressed with Old Murkai as I am with Murloc Warleader. Like if I'm pulling a card and I had to pick between one or the other, I would most likely pick this one. But Old Murkai is a very good card if you already have obviously if you have a whole deck set up and all your Murlocs are on the board, then at that point you're probably already winning anyways, and this is just kind of an overkill card. But what Warlock Murloc deck would be complete without an Old Murkai? Anyways, guys, I hope you found that informative. Hope you found it somewhat useful. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If there's anything that you think you find would work better, or if you just from your experience of playing against this deck and found it very frustrating, what your counter decks were. And thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.